Hello, a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Peter Kamau. You are just in time for TV 47 at 1. Let's get started. North Rift leaders have called for national dialogue to address the rise in cases of school unrest following the deadly fire at Utumishi Girls Academy that claimed the lives of 16 students. The leaders say increasing cases of student indiscipline, school fires and unrest have become a national concern requiring urgent intervention. Speaking in Baruesa, Baringo North, they called for comprehensive discussion involving parents, teachers, students, religious leaders and education stakeholders to address the root causes of the crisis. The leaders also urged the government to strengthen guidance and counseling programs, improve mental health support and enhance communication between learners and school management. However, Eldama Ravine MP Musa Sirma sparked debate by proposing the reintroduction of corporal punishment as a measure to curb indiscipline in schools.
Nataka hii ujumbe ifikie kila moja. Nimeona watoto wa shule wako hapa, viongozi wa mashule, walimu na bodi ya mashule zetu. Tafadhali, let us build dialogue amongst our learners in our schools. Tuwasikize
hii mambo ambayo inaendelea kwa mashule. Nataka niombe wizara wa elimu, nataka niombe walimu wakuu, pamoja sisi wote wazazi, viongozi, tusaidiane ili jambo mbaya ingine ya moto kama ile tuliona isitokezee tena. Na kila kanisa ambayo wana sponsor shule, hii ni wakati ya kwenda na kucancel watoto na kusaidia watoto wetu. Na watoto nyinyi wanafunzi, tulieni, Mungu yuko, na musifikirie mabaya, musikubali maovu ingie mawazo yenu.
Nataka niwaombe wazazi wetu pamoja na walimu na management yote ya mashule tuweze kukaribia watoto wetu, tuweze kuwasikiza watoto wetu, tuweze kusikiza matakwa ya wanafunzi ili wasiweze kufanya ukaidi na wachome mashule.
The county government of Kakamega and the Kenya Environmental Health and Public Health Practitioners Union have launched an urgent strategic partnership to strengthen Ebola preparedness across the region. The move follows a Ministry of Health epidemiological risk assessment that officially classified Kakamega as a high-risk county. Kakamega Deputy Governor Ayub Savula, speaking to journalists in Kakamega town during a tour to assess county preparedness strategy, said the county has already instituted 2 quarantine centers as part of its containment measures. He also criticized leaders who are politicizing health matters, urging them to stop opposing the construction of quarantine facilities across the country. His sentiments were echoed by Brown Ashira, Secretary General of the Kenya Environmental Health Officers Association, who defended President William Ruto's directive to construct a quarantine facility in Laikipia. Ashira praised Kakamega County's preparedness and urged both national and county governments to prioritize the recruitment of more public health officers.
PHOs, we are trained on outbreak containment, and part of the measures to contain an outbreak is establishment of quarantine centers. And we are not saying only one in Laikipia. We need to have quarantine centers all over this country, because this country, we cannot afford to expose the Kenyans to Ebola.
Most people have talked about the quarantine. Yes, we know under disease prevention, disease is contained at the source. But however, looking at how the world is becoming a global village, we are also looking at preparedness as the first step of emergency phases. So that when you are rushing at the response, you end up spending quite a lot of funds.
Yes. Let's not play politics. That we are making a quarantine for only Americans.
No.
The president has said clearly, anybody in Kenya will use that quarantine. Yes. And we thank the Americans for supporting that. Let's not play around with this epidemic.
The Ogiek community, which has long maintained that the Mau forest is its ancestral homeland, has dismissed allegation linking it to deforestation and environmental degradation in the forest. Instead, the community has highlighted its long-standing role in conserving the forest through its traditional way of life. Mike Kialo reports.
Speaking during the 9th annual celebration of the Ogiek community, members strongly rejected accusations that they are responsible for cutting down trees in the Mau forest. Instead, they expressed concern over the commercial logging activities being carried out in the forest without their involvement, despite the significant role Ogiek elders have played in preserving the forest ecosystem over the years.
There was no deforestation when the Ogiek were there. The deforestation are within the eyes of the Kenya Forest Service. They have a reason why is deforestation when they have already the mechanism to stop deforestation. The licensing, how the licensing is being done before logging is done, is not how. As we can coexist with the forest.
Sisi tupewe haki yetu. Forest lile ambao inashikilia kama global conservation. That is not a global, hiyo ni shamba ya jamii ambao sisi kama jamii ya Ogiek ni shamba letu ambao sisi tunalima miti ambao inakuwa.
The community also showcased traditional practices that have enabled them to live sustainably within the forest environment, including the preparation of indigenous foods while maintaining a strong commitment to forest conservation.
Matunda, watoto walikuwa wakitembea wakienda kutafuta asali ama kuinda, huo walikuwa wanatoa hiyo matunda wakikula.
The Ogiek community further renewed its appeal to President Ruto's government, urging it to implement and respect the rulings of the East African Court, which affirmed the community's right over the Mau forest.
Today, these people you see are having a problem because they want to go back to their home. They want to see their land rights. They want to see compensation. And we are requesting the President of the Republic of Kenya, President Ruto, to ensure that he implements.
The landmark judgment was first delivered in 2017 and was subsequently reaffirmed in 2022 and again in 2025. Mike Cello, TV 47.
Lawyers and paralegals have held a forum in the informal settlement of Dandora to address the rising cases of forced evictions across the country. The meeting brought together legal practitioners who serve as the first point of contact for affected communities to explore ways of strengthening access to justice. Discussions focused on the legal options available to victims who have been evicted and left stranded, with an emphasis on legal awareness and community action. The initiative, backed by organizations including Haki Jamii and Kituo Cha Sheria, is urging affected persons not to lose hope but to pursue justice through available legal channels.
Today we had a forum with the paralegals who are working at the community social justice. Basically, it was a forum between the paralegals and the lawyers discussing on how we can work together, since they are the first point of contact with the community. The main issue was to discuss the evictions that are in the country.
Can be addressed in terms of the community accessing justice and making sure that each and every person within these communities understand how the law works, what is needed of them, and their role in the justice system.
Elsewhere, residents and religious leaders in Lamu are demanding that the government restore the night travel along the Lamu-Witu-Garsen highway, citing the severe impact the continued suspension has had on their livelihoods and daily lives. The demonstrators, led by nominated Senator Shakila Abdallah, staged a peaceful protest, also calling for the removal of the U.S. military base in the county, which they claim has contributed to the travel restrictions. Residents further accused security agencies of defying a court order that permits motorists to use the highway at night, saying the restrictions have disrupted transport, trade and access to essential services.
Natuambia barabara lazima ifunguliwe. Takbir! Lazima ifunguliwe kwa mujibu wa sheria, na hakuna mtu yoyote ambaye yuko juu ya sheria. Na tumeona Kanja na Masengeli wamepuza amri ya mahakama mara 9 These people are not above the law. Sheria iko juu. Hakuna mtu yoyote ambaye yuko juu ya sheria.
We as the Lamu people, kila siku tunalilia kwamba we need development as a county. We need to develop as a county. Lakini bado tunapata kwamba uchumi huu unazidi kuwa limited because of limited restrictions, limited mobilities. Barabara from Hindi to Kiunga zimefungwa, barabara zinafungwa. We only have 12 hours to do our operations and economic operations.
So, koti imetoa uamuzi, Kenya ni nchi ambayo iko chini ya sheria. Kwa hivyo hakuna haja ya kuendelea na kafyu hii. La sivyo wakiendelea hivi ni kujipiga kifua, itakuwa inamaanisha koti kiamua mtu afungwe miaka 10 na polisi wasifuate hiyo sheria, itakuwa wanavunja pia sheria.
As the world marked Environment Day, residents of Motsumbo in Kwale County came together for a major conservation exercise, planting nearly 100,000 mangrove seedlings along the shores of the Indian Ocean. The initiative aims to protect the environment while safeguarding the livelihoods of coastal communities who depend on the ocean for their daily income. Project sponsors emphasized the need to empower local communities with the resources and knowledge to protect the ocean and its coastline while sustaining their families. They noted that mangroves play a critical role beyond vegetation, absorbing significantly more carbon dioxide than many inland forests, protecting coastlines from erosion and strong waves, and serving as breeding grounds for fish, crabs, and other marine species.
We've seen the need to ensure that we restore our environment for many reasons, not only just to plant trees, but also to ensure that we enhance on the biodiversity as well as the socioeconomic impact towards the different communities that we work across the country.
Be doing 1.2 million mangroves in total for the year 2026 as DTB. This is under our initiative that we call Much More Than Trees. And we call it Much More Than Trees. And this is also why we picked mangroves, because apart from just planting and growing trees, we also look at the benefit to the ecosystem. So with mangroves, we protect coastal lines, we preserve marine life, we try to benefit the communities within, and that is why we picked mangroves to do.
90% of the activities here we rely on fishing than even agriculture. In fact, it's one of the areas in Kinago sub-county where it strikes by poverty, but it seems that the poverty indices have been very low because of the presence of the fishery activities. So one of the benefits is, when we restore this environment properly, like 20 years ago, we guaranteed fishery production in this particular area. The communities will directly benefit.
Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru has hit the campaign trail in Ol Kalou, drumming up support for United Democratic Alliance candidate Sami Mushina Nyaga ahead of the upcoming by-election. Speaking during the campaigns in the constituency, Waiguru said Mushina had worked closely with the late MP Kiaraho and was therefore well acquainted with the area's development agenda, making him best placed to work with the national government to complete ongoing projects. Former Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria echoed that sentiment, saying the government remains committed to completing all development projects initiated by the late Kiaraho and that Mushina was the ideal candidate to drive them forward. In other news, a section of Western Kenya leaders allied to President William Ruto have intensified efforts to position one of their own as a successor to the head of state after his retirement. Led by National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula, the leaders argued that the Luhya community's numerical strength gives them a strong foundation in the race for State House. Wetangula also called on the Mulembe Nation to rally behind President Ruto ahead of next year's general elections, describing unity as key to the community's political future.
Na sisi tumejitolea kutembea na viongozi wetu. Tunataka kuunganisha kila mtu. Tukimaliza tuende kwa jirani zetu hapa baharini ya Lake Victoria. Tuambie ndugu zetu wa Jaluo, Sisi tulisukuma gurudumu ya mzee Odinga, tukasukuma gurudumu ya Raila, sasa tutembee pamoja. Twende kule Sugoi, tusungumuze na Rais Ruto, tumwambie tumekusukumia term 1, tumekupa 2 term, ikifika wakati wetu nawe pia usimame nyuma yetu.
Wacheni kukaa na ile tabia ya kusema ukiweka mdomo nyama ati wale walitawala Kenya wakuja wachukue. Mtakubali namna hiyo? Uhuru alisahau nini State House? Kuna kitu alisahau? Alikuja Kuisero. Wale wa jamaa ni wale watu wa wifu. Na sisi tunasema wenye wifu wafanye namna gani? Na mimi siwezi kupatisha mahali Kenya baada ya William Ruto. Nyinyi mtampigia William Ruto? Hebu nione mkono ya 2 term hapa kwenu.
Cancer survivors gathered in Nairobi to mark National Cancer Survivors Day, with health experts urging Kenyans to prioritize early screening and regular medical checkups. Cancer specialist Dr. Catherine Nyongesa said cancer can be successfully treated if detected early, and encouraged Kenyans to seek medical attention whenever they notice unusual changes in their bodies. Survivors at the event also called on the public to support those living with the disease and to avoid stigmatizing or isolating them.
Here we see over close to 50,000 new cases, and unfortunately 70% of this succumb to the illness because of late presentation.
I'm a breast cancer survivor. Today we are here to celebrate survivorship, and being one of them, nashukuru Mungu sana kwa kuwa tuko hapa, na ninajisikia kwa madaktari wetu, mahospitali zetu, ati tunaweza tibiwa huku Kenya bila kwenda India.
Stigma is deep, and as we talk about it freely and share our experiences, I think people will not be shocked, because cancer has its own shocks. And here we are encouraging for support systems.
Let's take a short commercial break. I'll be back with more news after this short break. See you soon.
At 8:30 p.m.
Good morning. You have my rent?
Leo jioni kama tutakuwa tumelipa rent, nauza simu yako.
Hamna pesa. I need 3 G's to make my nails today.
Sasa hivi natuhusu aje?
Can I order now? Do you ship? Can I get blinking ones?
Mimi nilikuwa na trade. Nimeekelea kitele yangu. Kitele yangu na trade. Nikikunyuma. Oh my God. He left me. Nitumie ni live.
Uko nje kuna wifi.
Why? Hi-fi?
Wait, so what do we call this dish again?
I have no idea.
The cucumbers are there specifically for my beauty routine.
Tamulini kero make a beauty product.
Na ameenda.
Tunafaa tukuwe na logo yetu. Like, si ni brand already.
We won't entertain divas.
No. I'm not dealing with a man child. Amazing. Nishapenda hii energy.
Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on TV 47. Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
My father used to tell me that a hotel is the home for travelers. I guess I forgot that. Recently, it's been more of a mirror of my own ambition. Booyah! We might fail. We will probably fail, but not for a lack of trying. So for the last time, and the first time.
Welcome back. You're watching TV 47 at 1. My name is Peter Kamau. The government is rolling out coffee farming to counties that have not traditionally grown the crop in a bid to strengthen the sector and boost national production. Speaking during an award ceremony for top performing coffee farmers and cooperatives At the Embu County Coffee Mill, Agriculture and Food Authority Acting Director General Kalistas Kundu said the expansion will help offset the decline in coffee acreage in traditional growing regions. Kundu added that the government is supporting farmers through training, demonstration farms, and improved access to inputs and extension services. AFA Director Peterson Muthathai said the authority has completed the mapping of all coffee farms to meet international market standards and is pursuing new export opportunities in Asian markets to diversify Kenya's coffee trade.
Tulikuwa na shinda na Europa walikuwa wamesema ni lazima tufanye kitu inaitwa geomapping ya mashamba yote, na tumehakikisha wakulima wa Kenya mzima tumemaliza geomapping. Tumemaliza yote, na yote ilifanywa na AFA. We did the funding, we did the geomapping. Sasa ile kitu inaitwa traceability, mnunuzi akiwa Ulaya anaweza kujua hii kahawa inatoka society ya Muroe na imetoka kwa shamba ya nani. Sasa that's what they wanted to achieve.
Through the Ministry of Cooperatives has set aside 500 million shillings to assist farmers across the country with seedlings between now and next year. The government is going to distribute through the Ministry of Cooperatives seedlings worth 500 million Kenya shillings.
We are seeing that our production has really gone down. But last year we managed to do 50,400 metric tons of coffee, worth 45 billion Kenya shillings. Lakini tunapoangalia mbele ni kwamba kumekuwa na upanzi. Wakulima wengi sana wamepanda kahawa.
A major humanitarian crisis is unfolding in Tana River County after devastating floods hit Tarasa and Tana Delta sub-counties, leaving thousands of families displaced. According to the Kenya Red Cross, more than 3,127 families have been left homeless, with food shortages, disrupted healthcare services, and learning activities brought to a standstill.
Hata njia yoyote ambayo ilikuwa tunaenda kuchukua na ile chakula ya watoto pia ilikuwa tumekosa. Njia ni hiyo moja ambayo tunavuka na hiyo dau. Kwa hivyo sisi sasa hii hapa tuko na matatizo, hakuna njia nyingine. Hii kijiji pia ni kijiji kubwa sana Handaraku, na tunavuka na dau. Dau nayo ni moja. Ikiwa wewe asubuhi mnatoka hapa, ukipata dau kuvuka ni muda, unachukua muda. Kwa hivyo sisi tuko na shida kubwa sana.
Bado tuko na tatizo kubwa, na tatizo yenyewe ni kwamba unaweza ukalala ndani ya nyumba ukajisikia uko sawa, lakini ikiwa tumboni hamna kitu, usingizi pia huwezi pata. Maana kile ambacho tungekuwa tunakula ndiko kile tumekipoteza kwa maji.
World Environment Day celebration took center stage in Kajiado County, where the Ushiriki Wema Foundation, led by Madam Tessie Musalia, emphasized the importance of environmental stewardship and sustainable development. She noted that protecting nature and expanding access to essential resources must go hand in hand in building a climate-resilient future. Access to clean and reliable water was a key focus of the celebrations, with the commissioning of a borehole project expected to improve the welfare of officers and the surrounding communities. Madam Musalia also led a tree planting exercise at the GSU Magadi Field Training College as part of the day's activities.
As we join the world in celebrating the World Environment Day, under the theme Inspired by Nature, for Climate, for Our Future, the commissioning of this borehole at the General Service Unit, Magadi Field Training College today reminds us that sustainable access to water is not only essential for human well-being, but is also fundamental to environmental stewardship, climate resilience, and the future we seek to build for generations to come. The presidential directive to plant 15 billion trees by the year 2032 has grown into a borehole infrastructure project, speaking directly to Kenya's Vision 2030 blueprint for equitable development.
We are called upon, both as officers and the citizens, to take deliberate and practical action in safeguarding the environment for the present and the future generations.
Senate Majority Leader Aaron Cheriwot is now urging leaders to be more responsible with their remarks, warning that the rise of ethnic-based politics could put national unity at risk. Cheriwot is now calling on the National Cohesion and Integration Commission to take action against politicians fueling divisions. The remarks come as the debate continues over the government's Ebola quarantine facility plans. Other leaders who accompanied the senator echoed his remarks, adding that the quarantine facility is intended to protect Kenyans from the possible threat of the deadly disease.
Vizuri kwa sababu sasa tumeweka NCIC, ile commission inasimamia mambo ya wachochezi. Tunataka wachukulia hatua viongozi wowote wale wanaeneza siasa ya chuki na ukabila mpaka washindwe.
Kora ya kutumia hata Ebola kufanya siasa, hiyo ni hatari na hiyo ni ukora na hiyo ni upotevu. Mambo ya Ebola, tuombe Mungu atusaidie, tupatie nafasi serikali wafanye kazi yao.
Lakini kama mmesikia kwa jirani, lazima uweke kinga. Sasa kama mtu amekuja ataki sisi tuweke kinga na tunaona iko kwa jirani, huyo mtu kweli atakuwa anataka mema kwa nchi yetu? Atakuwa kuna nia yake.
Let's take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. Kenya's Harambee Starlets face a stunned test of their Women's Africa Cup of Nations credentials when they take on host Zambia this Saturday at Levi Mwanawasa Stadium in Dola in the opening match of the Four Nations tournament. The encounter gives both sides a crucial opportunity to sharpen their preparations ahead of next month's continental showpiece. The Starlets will be looking to overcome recent squad setbacks and make a strong statement against the highly rated Copper Queens.
I played against Zambia before, 2019. I guess at this place too. So I know we don't discuss players, by the way, in our camp. We just focus, training, then the match will decide. We can't just sit down and discuss how would Barbara play, how could Nanji, Grace Chanda. No, it's not our work.
And we know that they're a formidable side. So as we're preparing for AFCON, we are really looking forward to play against teams that have already made a mark, to see where we are as we look forward to begin our matches in the AFCON.
For me, also a country where you see they do also their investments in women's football that's lifted them back to AFCON. They have also kind of players abroad. Some of them are very physical. They have some tall players in, which it's good for us that we need to evolve in our, air control defense-wise. But of course, we have a point on Kenya, but then we...
And finally, 6 veteran athletes from Elgeyo Marakwet County have booked their places in Team Kenya for the 2026 International Masters Athletics Championships scheduled for Daegu, South Korea this August. The athletes secured their spots after impressive performances at the National Masters Athletic Championships, proving that age is no barrier to excellence on the track. Out of 21 athletes who represented the county at the Nationals, 6 earned qualifications to the global competition, inspiring veteran sportsmen and women across the country to keep chasing their athletic ambitions.
Tu kwa niaba Masters inaambia kwamba wakienda kule South Korea wakumbuke Elgeyo Marakwet County pile waliweka kule Nairobi, waende wawike kule South Korea.
Nitaomba Mungu tu waende waniruhusu nikimbie mbio ngapi na ziwe gold zote. Nashukuru nimekimbia muda mrefu kuanzia 2010 nikianza zoezi. Sasa hakuna mpaka saizi nafika 50. Leo si hesabu ni 58, ni 59. Kesho tarehe 6 nina 59 kamili. Sasa napanda ndege nikiwa na 59. Mzee ana 73. Sinaona.
Michezo ni ya kila mtu. Kando ya imani kwamba michezo tu ni ya the youth. But the truth is sports is for everyone. And our mandate as a county government is to promote sports for everybody, even old age.
And that brings us to the end of TV 47 at 1. My name is Peter Kamau. Thank you so much for joining us and making us a part of your Saturday afternoon. Africa Express, all things Rumba, is up next. Have yourself a blessed weekend.